can't, to that extent, you are out of touch with who you really are. But when we know that we can change because we've proven it to ourselves, that displaces shame. And it creates a clear, strong space in oneself that is a kind of sense of uprightness and trust in yourself. I can trust myself. So, nevertheless, we live in the world as it is, and we will have feelings that are present in the world. So, back to the story of waking up that morning feeling shame. And as I dwelt with what I was feeling, I saw that it also brought up fear and doubt. So I pondered that in my morning meditation. And I saw that underneath fear and doubt, there are often two things. One is a feeling of despair about the condition of the world. And the other is a feeling of shame about oneself. So these things color our perceptions of things that are happening right now. They color our perceptions of the future and the past. And they also block our ability to really feel God and the things of God. So while I was feeling this kind of poignant despair in the world, it was a kind of hopeless longing. It reminded me of something Doris Lessing described in her novel Shikasta. She described wailing stones. So a place where people would go to cry out in despair. And they actually assembled these stones at the edge of settlements or communities. So whenever people felt down, they would go there and cry out their feelings. But there was also a kind of addictive power in these wailing stones. So if a person was just feeling so-so, they might also be drawn to these wailing stones because there, the stronger emotion, even though negative, to that person felt better than a kind of void in their hearts. It's like that at times, isn't it? So in the desolate void, when that fills our feeling, the power of despair can actually seem more real than what too often is but a distant, frail hope of God, heaven, joy. So what often happens is people feel this enormous flood of despair, but there's only this very thin, distant hope of something joyful. This is the experience of so many people on our planet. And this is actually working against us. So many people on earth experience a heart full of despair about the conditions in the world. And they're sort of locked in shame about themselves. And they have only a frail, distant hope of God or heaven. So these are some of the insights that came while I pondered the negative feelings I was experiencing. I find there is so much contained in feeling perception. If we bring our feeling perceptions, no matter what they are, even negative, if we bring these in prayer to heaven or in meditation, we can move through the pain of the emotion to the root of the feeling perception. At that root, there are always rich lessons which are vital to our lives. So, I want to suggest that whenever you feel something negative or stress, acknowledge it. Don't pretend that you're not feeling that. And then do something that helps release it safely. Sometimes it helps to dance it out. And then when you're ready, when the feelings have calmed, maybe they're not like a wave that knocks you over, but just a little wave, meditate on the deeper meaning within that negative experience. Focus on how life can handle that to to bring forth blessing. Find the gift in it. There always is a gift, if we open to receive it. So why? Why is there always a gift? Because everything is emerging simultaneously from one cosmic radiation of being. Through everything that happens, there is underneath it the pulse, the cosmic radiation of being. As I said earlier, through people, sometimes that comes out in distorted ways. But if we look for the sun between the brows, we can find it. To be able to see the sun between the brows, it really helps to attune yourself to life regularly. These days, we can hear the sound of crickets almost constantly. In our house, even with the windows closed, I can hear them. And through their singing, I feel all of nature embracing me. Like a parent holds a small child, gently swaying, comforting it. Snorkeling is also a wonderful way to attune to life's flow. A few weeks ago, Eugen and I went snorkeling to one of our favorite places, and for the first time in Jeju, we were surrounded by large schools of silver shimmering fish. This happened, we encountered them 5 or 6 times, and we could see them coming. Then they would envelop us and move on. And I wish I had a video camera under the sea then. It was so gorgeous because they moved. Some of them moved this way, like, and others moved like that. And with every move, they sparkled with the light. 너무 아름다웠어요. It was so beautiful. And it's wonderful to touch such magic as this. But I want to suggest that it's even more moving and profound when we realize what I'm seeing is cosmic being emerging. I had been moving with this awareness before we went snorkeling. So when I saw that magical beauty and realized it was cosmic being emerging, it brought such an ecstatic feeling of oneness. So also these days when I walk out into our Changwon, small garden, and I see that a new flower has bloomed, for me it's even more precious because it's cosmic being showing me its face. This morning there were new pink and orange and red-orange ones that... So life is continually seeking to help us, even when we have challenges. But too often, people are preoccupied and stressed, so they don't even notice. I want to tell you a secret. Life cannot bring any more blessings than we are open and prepared to receive. I mean, think about it. Is it going to hit you over the head to get you to open? Well, sometimes it does, doesn't it? But we usually don't think it's a blessing until later. I guess it was earlier this week I awoke before 5 a.m. And after I spent some time meditating, I started working. Shortly after the sun rose, I suddenly had a strong impulse to go outside. So I stepped out onto our porch, and I was greeted with a stunningly beautiful experience. There was a gentle rain falling. All those little raindrops were sparkling in the sunlight. Everything was green and lush. The crickets were singing. In the distance there was a dove cooing. Coo, coo. Through that impulse, it was as if life was calling, come out and enjoy this heavenly moment. Yeah, such experiences like that allow us to sense the glory of life emerging through being everywhere. A beautiful song of life. This glorious, loving spirit of life is actually here with us all the time, surrounding us, inside of us, guiding us. There's a daily mantra that I've been using for about a month that has deepened my experience of this. 느껴보십시오. 움직이는 것은 당신이 어디에 나 있는 생명, 존재와 같이 움직이는 것은. In English, sense yourself moving with life, being everywhere. You can see I've enjoyed this mantra a lot. And it's actually opened a new dimension for me. So this morning, I want to give you opportunity, not just to hear this, but to actually feel it in your body, to feel this glorious spirit of life. I'm going to play a piece of music that life also brought me one day. I was doing my exercises in the sanctuary. The title of the song attracted me, Hymn for the Universe. So I want to invite you, while that music plays in a few minutes, to move to it, to feel it. And while you do, I may, if I can, say that both in English and Korean, just to remind you. So hear all three of these before you move. So number one, gather up your things and stack them and your chairs at the edge of the room. Second, move in your own style. You don't have to try to move. Just let the music stir whatever movement is natural in you. And we're going to do this with our eyes mostly closed, open just enough so you don't bump into other people. And for about the first 4 minutes, you will move alone. After that, I'm going to say, those who wish now open your eyes and move with life being in others, other people. When you hear that, it's okay if you don't move with other people. Please, everyone, respect each other's choice. So only move with other people whose eyes are fully open. Jonghyang, what you just said about the sense of home that we really can only know when we're together in the flow of life. I don't think I would have experienced the ecstasy of oneness if it had been just one silver fish swimming around me. Yeah. So there's something we can magnify together. Yeah, when we release our old approaches and thoughts, we can discover this powerful, wondrous, seminal flow of life. Perspectives and ways come in that space that we could not recognize before. Ways, because we were caught in an old paradigm. So when we open to this glorious flow of life, that struggle of the old paradigm is suddenly displaced with waves of experience and insight that come so easily. All we have to do is open and let it through. And as we do that, we can experience the glory of moving in harmony with cosmic being. We can actually feel, I'm in life's flow. Maybe that's what those silver fish felt. It sure looked like it. And when we have that experience of opening ourselves to life's flow, we can know the glory of it. So thank you, 감사합니다. Thank you for your courage, 용기를 감사드립니다.